A little biographical note. Once, when he was traveling, Tanka Tenen starved overnight in a temple. You know the meaning of Tenen. It means absolutely natural. Zen is your nature. Whether you know it or not does not make any difference. If you know, you will not stumble unnecessarily. You will not go on falling into the same ditches again and again. If you know, you will walk like a man with eyes. If you don't know, you will walk with eyes but closed. Your life will suffer unnecessary misery, tension, anxiety. But there is no difference as far as your inner nature is concerned. You are a Buddha all the time. Sleeping, waking, whether you know it or not. If you know, life becomes a bliss. If you don't know, life becomes a misery. So it is simply you, if you are ready to sink deep within yourself, being in deep rest. It is not a victory. It is just remembering that Buddhahood is your nature. It is your Dhamma. Tanka Tenen starved overnight in a temple. It was so cold that he made a fire of one of the wooden Buddha statues. When he was chastised the following morning by the temple monks, Tanka explained that he had burned the statue so he could take Buddha's bones. How could a wooden statue have bones? A monk asked Tanka Tenen. Then why have you chastised me? Replied Tanka. In the night, only a man of immense insight, only a man who knows his Buddhahood can burn a statue of Buddha. The night was so cold. The real Buddha was suffering from cold and the unreal Buddha was enthroned. So he took one of the statues. It was a wooden statue, so he burned it and was quite happy. In the morning, when the monks of the temple found that he has burnt a statue of Buddha, obviously they were very angry that what kind of man you are. We thought you are a Zen master and you have destroyed one of our most valuable Buddha. What was the purpose? He said the night was very cold. He was simply showing to those monks that you have forgotten your Buddha nature when you are worshipping statues made by man. Buddhas are worshipping statues of wood or stone or marble. This is absurd. What kind of spiritual sleep you are suffering from? Have you completely forgotten who you are? So he said it was cold night and the Buddha was feeling the cold very much. And a false Buddha was just sitting there. I burnt the statue. It was just wood. To make it completely clear, he said, I was trying to find Buddha's bones in the world of the Buddha. The bones of a Buddha are called flowers. Where a Buddha has awakened, even bones are no more bones. So they are not referred as bones, they are referred as flowers. And slowly it has become widespread in India that now everybody is bones. When somebody dies in India, the body has to be burnt on a funeral pyre. And on the third day, when the fire has completely cooled down and the body is completely burned, third day, the relatives, the friends go to the burning place to collect the flowers. That is the expression. They are going to collect the bones. Those bones has to be dissolved either into a river or into the ocean for eternal rest. But they are not referred as bones. First time it was Gautam Buddha's bones which were referred as flowers. How can you say Gautam Buddha's bones just bones? In that body lived the first awakened man. In that body radiated the splendor, the bliss arising from nowhere. It is because of this Buddha has said, this very body the Buddha and this very earth the lotus paradise. When you know your nothingness, it radiates. Even from your bones, your eyes, your skin, everything takes a new grace, a new grandeur, a new majesty. Your words become golden. Your silence becomes so precious, a song without sounds. Even when the Buddha walks, his body is expressing his Buddhahood. If the Buddha looks into your eyes, his eyes are expressing the ultimate truth. Whether he says anything or not, he is continuously diffusing a certain energy all around him. He is a radiator. A radiation of the ultimate bliss. So naturally, if a man Like Gautam Buddha became enlightened when he was 42 years old and lived for 40 years afterwards. 40 years continuously, the Buddha inside the bones and the flesh and the skin. How it is possible that all these bones and skin will not be affected by this tremendous metamorphosis? Hence came the expression flowers. The man who has translated it has forgotten. He simply says that Tanka Tenen said, I had to burn the statue so I could take Gautam Buddha's flowers, not bones. Everything changes with your change of consciousness. Everything becomes tremendously beautiful. This was just to provoke those monks, so they are cornered. Immediately the high priest of the temple must have said, how could a wooden statue have bones? How could a wooden statue have flowers? Tanka has made his point. He is saying that a wooden statue is not a Buddha. It has not even the bones. It has not even the flowers of Buddha. It is simply wood cut in a certain shape. You have given the shape to the wood, but you cannot make it a Buddha. Once the monks were cornered, Tanka said, then why have you chastised me? Then why you are angry at me? There are many versions of this story. The version that I love, and I don't know whether it is in the scriptures or not. I don't know from where I got it. But I am absolutely certain that is the right version. It is not in the morning that Tanka Tenen was found. It was in the middle of the night when the priests saw a fire burning in the temple and they were asleep in the temple. The archpriest came running that, are you mad or something? What are you doing? You have burnt one of my most valuable Buddhas. At that time, Tanka took his staff and the Buddha was almost burned. So he started looking for flowers by his staff into the ashes of the Buddha. The high priest said, what are you doing? He said, I am looking for Buddha's flowers. I have heard that Buddha has bones and those bones turn into flowers. I am looking for those flowers. The high priest laughed. He said, you are certainly insane. It is just a wooden statue. It is not a Buddha. And Tanka Tenen says, aha. So it is not the Buddha. And the night is still long and very cold. And you have so many wooden statues, just bring one or two more. The high priest said, "You are a very dangerous fellow. I cannot allow you to stay in the temple." And he forced Tankatenin outside the temple in the middle of the night. It was cold winter, icy cold. And Tankatenin said, "What are you doing? You are my high priest and you are throwing me out just to keep your wooden statues safe. You are throwing the Buddha out." But the high priest did not listen. He just pushed him out and closed the doors. And in the morning when he opened the doors, Tankatenin was sitting by the side of the road by a milestone, and he has collected few wild flowers and he has put those wild flowers on the milestone, and he was sitting there reciting a beautiful mantra that the disciples of Buddha used to recite before him. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. I go to the feet of the Buddha. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. I go to the feet of the ultimate truth. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. I go to the feet of those who are the commune of the awakened one. The priest said, "Listen, you burnt my Buddha. That was an insane act. Now you are doing even more mad behavior. This is a milestone, not a Buddha. And you have put flowers on it. And you are going to the feet of this milestone." Tankatenin said, "It is the same. Just an excuse. You have wooden statues as an excuse. I have this stone. Hidden in it there is a stone Buddha. If some sculptor tries to take out all unnecessary pieces, a Buddha will appear. Any excuse will do. I burnt one of your excuses and you were so angry. This is just the same as your wooden statues. Neither this stone has Buddha's bones. And I am simply wanting, in the early morning sun with this beautiful breeze and flowers fragrant all around, and the birds started chirping and making their joyful sounds, I had to show my gratitude to the man who is the source of my family. Without him, perhaps there would not have been so many enlightened people. Gautam Buddha started a new chapter in the consciousness of humanity. Obviously, I go to his feet and I go to the truth that he revealed, and I go to the feet of those who became enlightened because of his sharing the enlightenment. I would not have been the light that I am right now If Buddha has not transferred to Mahakashyapa that which cannot be said into a lotus flower, I am showing my gratitude to the first man in the history of mankind who has risen above mind. This I know is the right story. If you don't find it in the scriptures, correct. Wherever you find those scriptures, correct. Because this does not show exactly Tankatenen's approach. It is very poor. And I love the riches. And the real richness comes from your awareness, your consciousness. This way Tankatenen was trying to make all those priests and monks aware that what are you doing? You have forgotten the real thing and you are worshipping statues. Any stone will do. Because in every stone the Buddha is hidden. I remember one story about Michelangelo. He was passing by the market where marble was sold. And he saw before a shop a big rock of marble. And he asked the owner that how much it will cost. The owner said nothing, because it has been there for 10 years and nobody even has asked about it. And I don't have space in my shop, so I have thrown it outside on the other side of the road. You can take it. It will give me space to put few other rocks. This rock seems to be absolutely absurd, of no use. So Michelangelo took that rock, and after a year, he invited the owner of the shop that now you can come and see. Your rock has blossomed. And it was Michelangelo's greatest work of art, which has been destroyed just few years before by a madman. It was a statue of Jesus Christ. His mother, Mary, has taken the body of Jesus Christ from the cross, and Jesus is lying almost naked in her lap, and she is looking at her face. It was one of the most beautiful statues in the world. The shop owner could not believe in his eyes. He said, "How did you manage?" He said, "It was not me. When I passed by the side of the rock, Jesus called me that I am lying down in this rock. Just remove the unnecessary parts and I will be revealed." And as I looked at the rock, I could see Jesus in the lap of his mother, by the side of the cross. It looked strange because of this statue was hidden behind it. The cross, Jesus lying in the lap of his mother and Maria. So it looked very strange type of rock. but I have just done a little work of chipping unnecessary parts, and you can see the miracle has happened. That statue was in the Vatican, and just few years before, perhaps 10 years before, a madman with a hammer just went in and broke the head of Jesus, Mariam, and finished that beautiful statue that may not be made again, because Michelangelo's don't happen that often. He was caught, but it was too late. And in the court, that man said that I am not a Michelangelo, so I cannot create, but I can destroy. And I wanted my name to become history. And I wanted to see my picture on all the newspapers on the front page. And I have succeeded in it. And I am ready for any punishment. The judge was at a loss what to say this man. He has destroyed one of the most precious things, the most beautiful work of art, just to have his photograph in the newspapers on the front page and his name in the history that Michelangelo created and this man destroyed. And he was ready. He said, I am ready even to go to the gallows. It doesn't matter. If you have eyes like Michelangelo, then every stone becomes something that ordinary people cannot see. Only a Michelangelo can penetrate, just like X-rays, deep into the stone. And it can become a Jesus, it can become a Buddha. Tanka Tenin was saying, what is the need of all those statues when the real Buddha was feeling the immense cold of the night and you pushed me out. And this has been, Tanka said, the story of all the religions. They push the Buddha out and they worship Buddha's statues. The sutra, our beloved master, when Tenjiku was asked about the incident of Tanka Tenen burning the statue, he replied, when it is cold, we gather around the hearth by the fire. Tenjiku is another master. When he was asked about the burning of the statue of Buddha by Tenen, he replied, there is nothing wrong. He didn't say anything. He simply said, when it is cold, we gather around the hearth by the fire. Was he wrong or not? Persisted the monk. When it is hot, we sit in a bamboo forest in the valley, said Tenjiku. He is not saying right or wrong. That is the way of Zen. Not to decide right or wrong. He is simply saying every Zen master behaves spontaneously. When it is hot, he goes under the shadows of a bamboo forest. When it is cold, he burns wood. He is not mentioning at all whether Tanka Tenen has done anything wrong. He is simply saying everybody who is aware functions spontaneously. Finding no other wood, Tanka Tenen found the wooden statue of Buddha. There is nothing wrong in it. When it is cold, one needs fire, and when it is hot, one needs shadow. And Zen is absolutely natural. You should function according to your nature, and your spontaneity should come your response. The day after the burning of the statue, Tanka Tenen went to see Nanyo, who had once been a disciple of Inno and was the emperor's Zen master. When Tanka unrolled his zazen rug, Nanyo said, "There is no need.